Welcome back to County Board Wrap-Up. Joining me to talk about some of the decisions the board took at its September meeting are Board Chair Katie Crystal and Board Member Eric Gutschall. So the Dockless scooters, we have all seen them around the county. They've been popping up all over the county as another mode of transportation. The county took some action on the scooter program, for lack of a better way of putting it. Tell me a little bit about what happened.
You know, this is such a great example of why they call it disruptive technology, right? The scooters have been in our county really since mid-July. So it's been a remarkably fast process. And we didn't have any sort of regulatory framework for them when they arrived. What we've sought to do is create a pilot. We know we have a ton of opinions about scooters in the county. What we don't have is a lot of data about how often they're being used, where they're being ridden, where they're being left. We have many anecdotes, but not enough hard data to actually look at. And I think the board, consistent with our approach actually to a number of disruptive technologies, be it Airbnb or free-floating car sharing programs, really sought to study the issue before we seek to make changes to our code one way or another. So what we did in our last board meeting was approve a pilot and empower the county manager to enter into a series of agreements with scooter companies and dockless bike companies, e-bikes, that wish to be in the county. That pilot includes some new regulations or some new restrictions. I guess they're not codified, so they're not formally regulations, but a lower top speed for scooters, for example. That's been one of the safety things we've heard about as an issue. And basically tried to create a framework under which we could study this issue for the next 9 months before we take regulatory action. The things we'll be collecting information on are some of the things we've heard most about from constituents. How many scooters are too many? What is the demand, and how does that match with what our infrastructure is set up for safely, bike lanes and beyond? Where they can be left and how quickly they can be collected when they're left somewhere that might pose a tripping hazard or a right-of-way obstruction. And then, of course, a number of other issues. So, again, we're looking to gather data, and we're looking to gather public input in a sort of more rigorous way, less ad hoc, through a number of engagements with commissions, open houses, in the community.
I know one of the things I've been hearing as a benefit to these scooters and the fact that they are dockless is that they really help with that last mile, getting from a transit stop to someone's home, office, what have you. Are you seeing similar anecdotes from the community?
Absolutely. I think that's what makes them so attractive, right? They're not meant, you're not going to see folks, I think, riding on scooters for great distances, you know, going miles and miles, taking them from here, you know, out to Fairfax County or across the district. But what you are going to see is they do provide that really, really critical connection, what is often termed the last mile, which is so critical because that's what enables people to use transit as a choice. So if it's easier to get to a metro stop, if it's easier to get to a bus stop that is maybe not an easy walk, but then would be a relatively easy scooter ride, as long as we can come up with a way that we can do that is safely, that respects other modes of travel, whether it's other drivers that need to be on the lookout for scooters as you would share the road with bicyclists. And then we need to, I think, also work to develop a culture among the scooter riders that is also respectful of pedestrians, others, and cyclists, and vehicles and other. So it's really all about that connectivity. I personally believe that what we're witnessing is there's just going to be more to come. This is the first of probably many disruptive sorts of technology. And when I'm speaking with folks and I totally understand that there's a natural inclination to really be focused on safety, and safety is paramount, no question about it. Safety for the riders of the scooters, safety for those around them. But it's also, I gotta wonder what it would have been like many, you know, about 100 years ago, right? When someone said, oh my God, have you seen those horseless carriages, right? And the people, and there was no culture, nobody knew, so even the first folks that were getting in cars at that time didn't know what the power necessarily of what they had under them. And so it took a little bit of time, and that's what this pilot is about. The pilot is about, let's get our bearings, let's take a deep breath, let's understand, let's study, let's look at in a somewhat controlled environment, and we'll figure it out.
Right, and we'll see what happens. I mean, in a county where we pride the various modes of transportation that we can offer folks, and also to reduce the number of single-use passenger vehicles all the time, it could provide another option. We just need to take a look at how it's working.
Absolutely, and we're going to spend the next 9 months doing exactly that.
All right.